What's crazy is that we treat our tomatoes better than we treat ourselves. A lot of people's sleep problems might be actually light problems. We're essentially malnourishing our eyes with incomplete light. What can you actually do about it? I'm going to give you some practical steps. So I start all my vegetables from seed, and to start them from seed and to have them healthy, everybody knows you have to start with full spectrum lighting. It's a very big deal when it comes to gardening. I started looking at that and saying, okay, well, plants need full spectrum light for health. What about people? We're so focused on energy efficiency and aesthetics that we're not talking as much about the quality of light as we should have. We talk about color quality, but not something more substantial than that. So here's what's changed. For all of human history, I'm talking tens of thousands of years, we've only had light sources with broad spectrums. Sunlight, obviously, fire, candles, oil lamps, even the incandescent bulbs, the ones that got banned for wasting energy, they're actually really close to putting out the spectrum of natural light. A continuous wavelengths from blue through red through infrared, a nice smooth curve of that visible and invisible light. Then LEDs came along, and they're amazing for energy efficiency. They told us they were going to last forever. We know that part's true, not true. But here's the thing, that most LEDs are designed to produce only the wavelengths that you can see. And they do that in this real kind of spiky way. So instead of this curve, we're getting this flat line, a spike, flat line, and a spike. Before LEDs, we were never really getting blue light without red light. And now we're getting that blue light without any red light. What LED lighting manufacturers are doing was intentional, because they're like, why should we waste energy producing infrared light when humans can't see it? And it makes sense from the efficiency standpoint, but it turns out our bodies need more than just the visible light. Our eyes, our skin, our internal clocks, they're tuned to a complete spectrum. You could feel that something is off with that, just in our nature. So, because we need that complete wavelength of natural light, the violet through the red and the invisible stuff in between, it's important for our well-being. I say that as I've got nothing but LED lights on me. And the old incandescent lights came close to that. It wasn't just that their warm glow was comforting, and it is, but it literally has more of those longer reds and infrared wavelengths that we associate with warmth and sunset, that our primal brain associates with fire and sunlight. So almost all modern LEDs are producing light in a completely different way than that light. It's kind of like eating just lettuce or just meat, and you're missing out on a lot. Blue rich light tells your mind it's daytime, be alert. The absence of blue light at night and the presence of the infrared, like a sunset, says it's time to wind down. It's time to produce melatonin, get ready for sleep. When you're under bright LEDs with that blue spike at 9 p.m., your brain still thinks it's midday. The melatonin is getting suppressed. Sleep quality goes down. A lot of people's sleep problems might be actually light problems. Your mood and energy are affected. There's a reason you feel better on a sunny day. Natural light increases serotonin. That makes you just feel better. Sometimes, if you're maybe just going out for a walk in the sunshine can make you feel better. There was a study, and it's kind of crazy, but office workers who had access to natural light, like why would you not? Versus those in dim interior offices slept 37 minutes longer per night, scored higher on cognitive tests. 37 minutes just from having window. Another thing is eye health and vision. Like, here's something I didn't know until I researched it, is like high blue light without the balancing red can cause eye strain and potentially long-term issues. Like, if you ever see, like I know one YouTuber, he wears these red glasses, and that's because he's always looking at computer screens. So he's trying to give himself some more red. Your retina is one of the most energy intensive tissues in your body. And certain wavelengths, especially in the red and the near infrared, can actually energize those cells. So studies have shown that exposing aging eyes to deep red light for just a few minutes improved visual function, probably boosting the mitochondria and the retinal cells. I know I'm getting in there. What can you actually do about it? First and foremost is maximize your natural daylight. The sun is still your best source, period. 100 CRI, perfect spectrum, dynamically changes throughout the day, minute by minute. If you're designing or renovating, think about window placement, skylights, light-colored walls that bounce daylight deeper. You want to get different ways of getting light into your home. Second is choosing better artificial light. When you do need electric lighting, look for high-CRI, full spectrum LEDs. Now, the full spectrum part is going to be the part that's hard to find, and we'll get to that. I have a whole other video just about color temperature that I'll link to, but there's smart bulbs that can automate and change the color temperature. And if you're doing a renovation, then you can also do ones that change throughout the day, which is really amazing, so that it's changing, just as the sun would change. The next is layering your lighting. So multiple sources of lighting for different purposes: ambient lighting, task lighting, and sparkle, for lack of a better word, something that's to excite you or to make a statement. And honestly, if you light some candles or sit by a fireplace at night, you're like, isn't that like the coziest, nicest thing on earth? Here's where we come back to tomatoes. We figured out a long time ago that plants need the full spectrum to grow properly. The grow light industry is built on that. Even if you buy cheap grow lights from China on Amazon, you got to get full spectrum lighting. Like, there's no debate about that if you want to grow plants. So we understand that wavelengths are necessary for plants. And we understand that limiting that spectrum would stunt the growth and cause problems in our little precious little seedlings. But somehow we forgot to apply that same logic to ourselves. And so we prioritized efficiency and cost. And now we have generations of people growing up under incomplete light and wondering why we don't sleep well, why we feel tired all the time, why our eyes hurt at the computer. And I'm not saying light is the only factor of this. There's so many things, but that's a factor that you have control over. You could start simple. Swap out the bulbs in the spaces where you spend the most time. Get some high-CRI, full spectrum lighting, and notice how you feel after a few weeks. Maybe you can start treating yourself at least as well as you treat tomatoes. If you're dealing with a renovation or building a custom home, this is exactly the kind of thing that's worth thinking about early. Because once the lighting plan is set and fixtures are installed, it's a pain to change. If you factor in natural lighting and spectrum quality from the beginning, you end up with spaces that genuinely feel better to be in. Your neighbor or somebody who comes in might not be able to pinpoint exactly why. You'll know why. And so drop any questions in the comments. I hope this was helpful. I'll see about putting in some full spectrum light bulbs in the comments for you to check out and try it and report back. Tell me how you feel.